What world? What up? What up? Welcome in. Just starting up a live. Do a little live, quick live while I'm doing nothing. Found a video of some old historic areas in New York. I'm gonna go over real quick. Just got home. I don't really need my coat on. We got anybody in the chat yet? Not yet. I don't know. I set it for 4:45, so we probably gotta wait a minute for a couple people to show up, maybe. Had to cut my own hair today because my barber's still in fucking Alabama. Fuck my shit all up. It'll grow back so fucking fast anyway, like a chia pet. Have him fix it. All right, we're about to check this video out. Yeah, Ruben, my barber went to Alabama, my guy. He went there for some shit. I don't remember exactly what he told me. See his aunt or something. He's asking me to go get his mail out his mailbox and mail it to him in Alabama. He still ain't home yet. I'm going to pull this video up so we can go over it. All right, I got the video. My bad. What are you up to today, Ruben? It's a historical, like abandoned places in America. This one is some places in New York. So a bunch of them I'm familiar with. So. I feel you raining, huh? What do you work outdoors or something, Ruben? So the title of this video that I'm sharing is Abandoned America. You won't believe these ghost towns exist in New York. And I'll tell you who the uploader and everything else was, even though they'll probably copy strike me for fair use anyway.
When you think of New York, you probably picture Times Square's...
I feel you, bro. I should be disabled. I'm basically I broke my back in 5 places mad years ago, fell 200 feet off a cliff on rocks, all this other shit. So anytime it's cold, I feel you. My whole body hurts, especially my back. I get like during rain or during snow or when it's really, I don't like being out in the super cold. My whole back will just tighten up, kills me.
Bright lights, towering skyscrapers, and the non-stop energy of a city that never sleeps. But beneath all of that, there's a darker, quieter side of New York. Ghost towns. From sunken villages and abandoned Catskills resorts, to quarantine islands left behind by their last patient, these places aren't just quiet, they're the remains of civilizations swallowed by time. Let's explore 15 of the eeriest and most fascinating ghost towns in New York.
Yeah, absolutely, Ruben. I got a lot to thank God for, man. That was just when I was like 13 years old when that happened. But last October or so, I died too. I was in a coma. They said I was going to be brain dead forever and everything, but fucking lived through that too. Came back to life. So thank God.
This neighborhood was once designed to be a model of modern American life. Neatly built homes, playgrounds, and an elementary school.
So this is Love Canal, New York. This is over by Niagara Falls, actually. This is super out there in New York, far from me. But what up, MRH, my guy? What's up? Yeah, God is always good. Fact. Yeah, so righteous. But Love Canal used to be a city in New York that the some company I think ended up doing some real dirty shit, dumping a bunch of poisonous stuff, and I ended up killing the town. But Mandingo, my guy, DJ, what's up? God bless.
But no one knew it was sitting on a ticking time bomb. Thousands of tons of
Yeah, this is it. Thousands of tons of toxic waste over there.
toxic chemical waste, buried by the Hooker Chemical Company since the 1940s. This is the Love Canal, located in Niagara Falls. In the late 1970s, a strange smell started rising from the ground. After it rained, puddles filled with oddly colored water. Soon, reports of miscarriages, birth defects, and cancer began to spike.
That's disgusting for a company to do some shit like that over profits, bro.
The scandal didn't just force thousands to
Nah, I don't think that's what it was, Ruben.
evacuate, it shocked
James Simpson, hello, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
the entire nation. From this disaster, the Superfund Law of 1980 was born.
We fought very hard to stop the resettlement of Love Canal. We lost that battle.
While Love Canal is tied to a modern tragedy, Shaker Village in Mount Lebanon tells a very different.
Okay, so this is a city in Mount Lebanon, New York. Shaker. It used to be called Shaker Village. This is where the Shakers come from, not the Quakers like in Pennsylvania, but these are basically abstinent Christians live in this area in New York back in the day. They're all wiped out, obviously. Abstinence doesn't really build a community very well, but
Story. The Shakers, formerly known as the United Society of Believers in Christ's Second Appearing, built this village in the late 1700s.
be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy.
They were known for their simple living, neatly built wooden architecture, and one rule that many found unusual: absolute celibacy. That's right, no marriage, no children. The only way their community could survive was by recruiting new members from the outside. At its peak, Mount Lebanon had over 600 members. It
All right, I thought it was like 500. I mean, I might have said 600. I don't remember, but
became the central Shaker settlement in America, with large barns, sprawling gardens, and an herbal and furniture production system still admired today.
we're still pretty much on cities that are really on the outskirts of the state of New York. The state of New York's a big fucking state for people who don't really never really been there or anything, but these are like real, like Niagara Falls is the end of New York towards the northwest, I think, and Shaker would have been towards the northeast more. I'm way closer to New York City, which is like, you know, along the Hudson Valley region, stuff like that. So, yeah, when we start to get to some of those towns, I'll let you know more about that.
But over time, membership declined. By the 20th century, the village grew.
Man, Edwin, I'm going to say a prayer for Edwin. I feel bad for the man. I don't know. He's lost over there with those people for some reason. But I mean, I thought he was always a good guy. He's still always been nice to a lot of the people I know, at least. I'm not sure 100% what he's up to. I haven't been seeing him, obviously, in Rat Trap City or MRE's chats like I used to. So that's disappointing, but
Quiet and was eventually abandoned. Tivoli Bays has a different kind of fate.
all right, yeah, you know about the Hudson Valley, DJ? All right, that's where I was born, so you know what it is. We used to have the murder capital of the country there for a little while.
Located on the edge of the Hudson River, this small village was once home.
So this is Tivoli Bays. This is on the Hudson River. There's a place called Tivoli, actually. That's not this particular place. That's in the Hudson Valley. It's out in the sticks. I had some friends who actually lived there back in the day. That it was really the sticks, though. I remember one of the dudes I knew who lived out there in Tivoli. His parents had a literal cannon, like Civil War cannon, on the fucking front porch. So some old school shit in the Tivoli area.
Home to fishermen.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that, MRH. It's sad, you know, because I think the man actually does believe in God. I think he's being led astray to the negativity.
Farmers and workers who relied on the water. There were docks, boats, and small.
And he's an old man, so older men I give a little more leeway than I would. Kind of like a woman, I give him a little bit more leeway than I do the average man.
Trade routes. But nature slowly took over. The Hudson River flooded more
Maureen, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
often, marshlands expanded, and the area became harder to live in. Trade routes shifted elsewhere, and Tivoli Bays was left behind. Today, it's no longer a village, but a 1,722-acre nature preserve managed by New York State. It's now a haven for.
I can't even remember what this is that I rolled. I rolled up last night a whole big ass spliff, and I don't even remember what I rolled. I never smoked it. I usually don't even smoke this early in the day, but I had one huge spliff rolled, so I lit it up. I can't remember what I rolled though.
migratory birds, deer, and wildlife.
I probably got like 40 strains or some shit. I can't even remember which one this is. I could usually tell by the taste and smell, but I don't know. Maybe I mixed it.
Watchers.
Oh, wait, I know what it is. It's Empire 54. It just hit my tongue. Smoking Empire 54.
If Tivoli Bays disappeared because of marshland, Gilboa has a far more dramatic story. It was intentionally flooded for a reservoir. This village once sat in Schoharie Valley.
Now I know Ruben. I've seen the dude around a long time though. He wasn't always. I don't know. Maybe he was always, but it's sad when you see an old man like that doing simping and shit. Because you know they might be old. It might be dementia. It could be anything. You don't know.
Home to farm.
Yeah, it's a strain I never had before either, Maureen, until I got this batch. I grabbed some of it. It's super fire. I'll show you some on the screen when I pull the big screen up.
Farmers and workers since the early 1800s. But in the 1920s, New York City needed clean water for its millions of residents.
Yeah, this happened to a lot of upstate New York, not even, well, they would call it upstate places like 50, 80 miles north of New York City. You know, a lot of those places ended up getting shut down and the houses demolished and everything and turned into aqueducts basically, or reservoirs for New York City. So for them to have their clean drinking water, that's like there's a place, a Shokan, New York, that's like that. They got a huge reservoir, which is like up there by like Phoenicia and stuff.
Residents. The solution? Build the Shohari Reservoir, one of the city's major water system projects. As a result, the entire town of Gilboa had to go. Houses were demolished or moved, residents were relocated, and by 1926, the valley was submerged. What makes Gilboa even more famous isn't
Oh, I forgot. Gilboa, New York, too, is where they found all those fossils. The oldest known tree, like forest in America or something, was in Gilboa, New York. But that's just what they're saying.
just the fact that
That's
it
sad,
became a
Jamie.
lost town. It's what was found there: fossils of ancient trees, some over 100 feet tall. These fossils are more than 380 million years old, making the area home to one of the oldest known forests in the
Bro, I get higher than 6 kites tied together. That's why I just put that shit out when you said that, DJ. I'm like, hang on, I better stop with this because I don't need to be getting high.
world. Next up is Tahawus, a mining town founded in the early 1800s. During its peak, the village thrived on the back of the iron industry. But there was one big problem. The iron ore from Tahawus was mixed with titanium.
Think about this. This was a problem to them back then. Somebody could go to this city, Takawus, New York, or whatever this dead town is, and they could buy up these mines probably for pennies on the dollar. And nowadays, titanium's worth far more than the iron. That's
Which at the time was considered a nuisance. Back then,
titanium at that time was considered a nuisance material.
titanium had no market, so the product was nearly worthless. Gradually, the village lost its residents until it became completely abandoned. What's interesting is that Tahawus reappeared in American history in 1901. President Theodore Roosevelt was visiting the area.
Roosevelt used to be all over visiting, all over in New York, a lot actually. There's I've been to places like North Lake, South Lake, New York, up in the mountain, where there's like there used to be these huge palatial estates and stuff for like the rich and the famous. They would take the trains up there to like vacation, you know, in the outdoors and stuff. And there was these beautiful buildings, marble floors, crazy work done on them. But all the presidents used to stay there back then. I'm sure there was lots of that shit too, Ruben. I sent MRE some pictures recently from a local cemetery where there's all these special group of Freemasons, like a special side group of like higher than normal order of Freemasons used to live in this area, like the founding fathers and stuff. So yeah, there's where I was born, there's an old Dutch church where there's graves that go back to the 1600s. So yeah, as far as America goes, yeah, it's a pretty old area.
When he received word that President
Yeah, right, MRH, and it's still sitting there like nothing anyway, though. But I'll let this part finish.
William McKinley had been shot, Roosevelt immediately descended the mountain to Buffalo, where he would soon be sworn in as President of the United States. Today, the ruins of worker housing, mining warehouses, and rail lines remain, slowly reclaimed by the forest. Unlike the previous towns, Camp Santanoni was born out of luxury. Built in the late 1800s by Robert C. Proen.
So there was a lot of towns like this in New York, like Hunter Mountain up there. There was a lot of beautiful, like I was saying, palatial things up there. I used to be a chef up there decades ago, um, which is pretty much up in the woods, but it's not. It's probably like 90, 100 miles out from New York City north. But it's like somewhere where they blow snow and stuff and people go skiing and all that stuff. So since way back, they used to build these like palatial places. I think this camp in particular, yeah, this was just a wealthy American, and they had a whole bunch of them that like Hasidic Jew guys bought.
A wealthy banker from Albany, this estate became the grandest.
Yeah, it's beautiful. As soon as you get north of New York City, like 40, 50 miles, you start to see all beautiful trees and like nice scenery. A lot of the areas, at least. Not like Newburgh or Poughkeepsie, like over by me, but there are places though that are nice like this.
Great camp in the Adirondacks. It spanned over 12,900 acres and featured 40 buildings, including a Grand Lodge with 200 windows overlooking the lake, horse stables, a working farm, and a guest house built in Japanese style. Its purpose was simple: a private retreat for elite families, hosting politicians, businessmen, and high society guests.
And this is what I'm saying. That's what a lot of these rich people used to do. They would buy these little spots right outside of New York in these areas and make it, palatial estates and shit in the woods, and it was beautiful. But
at its peak, Camp Santanoni was the symbol of upper-class wilderness living. But over time, the cost of upkeep became too much. The Proyne family abandoned the property by the mid-20th century. The buildings began to decay, the forest crept in, and Camp Santanoni became a silent, forgotten luxury compound.
It's sad how much of America this has happened to. You see like the areas that built the country, like along the Hudson River, there's plenty of cities where all those bricks that built all those buildings in New York City, that's where they all came from, where all those roads were paved from, it all came from. And those cities were thriving when New York was being built still and everything, before Democrats got such a stronghold, you can't build anything.
When you think of ghost towns, most people imagine old mining camps or submerged villages. But Frontier Town is something entirely different. It was once a Wild West.
So this was like a Wild West town. I never actually been here, but I heard about this place. This is like I think it was open till like the mid 90s or something, because I heard of it. So she lives Staten Island. Okay. All right. Yeah, Staten Island is like probably 70 miles from me or something like that, Ruben.
Themed amusement park that opened in 1952 in the Adirondack.
Danny, what's up? Yeah, plus we got the Adirondack Mountains that run through New York. A lot of people don't think about too. So
Adirondacks. For kids growing up in New York.
And no fighting either. Word, DJ. We got a good crew always over here. It might be small out most of the time, but it's a good crew.
York during the 60s through the 80s, visiting Frontier Town felt like stepping into a cowboy movie. But the golden years didn't last forever. By the 1990s, visitor numbers dropped.
Yeah, that's what I thought from memory. Yeah. So by the 90s, this is when this town, look at it now. Like they still have a church in the middle of the woods, though. I think that's dope.
Operating costs.
I mean, it sucks that it's there like it is, but it's dope.
Skyrocketed, and eventually, Frontier Town officially closed in 1998. Since then, the wooden Western-style buildings have been left to rot. Interestingly, the remnants of the theme park are still there. some adventurous travelers sneak inside and discover old chairs, broken cowboy mannequins, and empty show arenas, a kind of ghost amusement.
Yeah, MRH, we got to do a live, maybe be Saturday or Sunday or some shit. Me and you'll do a live together if you got some time, bro.
Park lost in the woods.
That's
Tucked
what I'm
in the
saying.
heart of the
MRH. I've seen
Catskill
shit like that.
Mountains,
Found shit like
Phoenicia
that
has a
as a kid.
slightly different story.
So here's Phoenicia. The first time I went to Phoenicia, New York, was with a good friend of mine when I was like probably 16. Tremaine Holmes, rest in peace. He passed away. Trey, he had a girlfriend in Phoenicia. So we went up there, I used to move butt up there to them dudes up there in the sticks, and they loved it. Except whenever I'd send it with Trey, the shit was always short when it showed up. But it's cool because that's my man. Nothing but love for the dude. But yeah, this is a cool place, Phoenicia. It's really woodsy. They got a big spot where everybody goes like tubing. They get in tubes and go down this you'll
Unlike
probably
other
see it.
ghost towns that are completely abandoned, Phoenicia
There's like some fine dining still up there and stuff, and some other stuff in Phoenicia. My son used to live up by that area. I used to have to drive dumb far to go get him when his mother lived over there. It was terrible for me for the ride, but just to have to go there to get my son all the time. But that was when he was younger. He's older now.
is more of a semi-ghost town. Back in the 19th century, this village was a key stop along the Ulster and Delaware Railroad, bustling with life. But over time, the train stopped running, and the local timber and bluestone industries faded. As the economy declined, many residents moved away.
Yeah, it's a small town now. It's got a small town vibe to it. Everybody who lived there knows everybody, It's definitely a small
Yet
place. But
Phoenicia never fully died.
like there's definitely dudes still brewing fucking
small
moonshine in the woods out here.
Arts community, along with a few cafes and inns, still keeps it going. In fact, it has found new life in recent years, especially known for its tubing festivals on the Esopus Creek.
Okay, on the Esopus Creek it is. The Esopus was a Indian tribe that used to live in the area in New York. So there's actually a place called Esopus, New York also. So down by like Port Ewan, New York, Ulster Park, New York, those areas is Esopus.
Next is Ellenville, located at the foot of the Shawangunk Mountains. This town
I like the small town areas too. It's cool. Gives me like nostalgic vibes. Here's Ellenville. Ellenville is a shithole. I gotta be honest. Ellenville, New York sucks. I'm not even gonna lie.
once thrived as a resort destination in Ulster County. From the 1950s to the 1970s, it was a popular escape for tourists looking for
That's like an hour and 15, 20 minutes from me. It's literally in the middle of the woods. Probably, I don't know, 60 miles north of New York City. There's like, this is where they build like big rehabs and stick people in the middle of the woods. And like they got big Jewish communities in the middle of the woods. And the city itself is in shambles and nobody makes enough money to get by. It's a tough place.
fresh mountain air, cozy inns, and spa hotels. But like many Catskills resort towns, Ellenville lost its spark when cheap flights to Florida and the Caribbean drew vacationers elsewhere. Today, its population hovers around 4,100, but the local economy continues to struggle. The garment and glass industries that once sustained the town have long since collapsed, leaving behind
Yeah, they used to have, like, big shoe companies that made shoes and other garments in Ellenville back in the day, and it was actually a booming city back like, way back early 1900s up till the early to mid 1900s, actually, and then population collapse and everything else.
Many
Pretty
empty
much.
buildings. Still, Ellenville isn't without charm. The nearby Shawangunk Cliffs remain a beloved destination for climbers and nature lovers, keeping a flicker of life in this fading mountain town. Parksville, located in Sullivan County, was once part of the famed Borscht Belt, a thriving Jewish resort region in the Catskills from the 1920s through the 1960s.
Fact, MRH, it's a lot like, fucking soap opera shit. A lot of it I don't I watch some of the clip channels. I fuck with MRE, of course, because he's a real dude, like, an actual friend, a decent man. So, I ain't never heard anybody actually tell anything true about the man bad, so
Back then, this small town was alive with hotels, bungalow colonies, and family-run restaurants.
there's still a lot of Hasidic Jewish communities, like, just north of New York City that have a lot of compounds and stuff. I was just reading an article actually the other day how in, Ramapo, New York, they, like, took over the school board. They're only like 2% of the entire population there. I guess it's mostly black and Hispanic in Ramapo, New York, but these Hasidic Jewish folks took over the school board and then sold off one of the schools and said, like, got rid of it, closed it down, said that they had no plans in buying it, that that's a rumor. And then they got all a bunch of funding shifted for their kids private schools, and then they bought the school that they had shut down like 4 years later. It's crazy, pretty sad, but they're trying to better their people, but it's taken from everybody else's, I guess, because they didn't want to pay the tax rates and stuff too. And I don't know, it's crazy. Some not obviously not all Hasidic Jewish people are like that, but this is what I read in the article. You could find it yourself, Ramapo, New York.
But as cheap air travel and global tourism became more accessible, the Catskills resorts slowly emptied out, and Parksville faded with them. Today, Parksville looks more like a ghost town than a former holiday escape. Crumbling buildings, shattered windows, and collapsed roofs line its narrow streets. Yet, there's a glimmer of hope. In recent years,
Jason, my dude, glad you're in here. God bless. Good to see you. We're just going over some abandoned America, and this happens to be small towns in New York. I'm familiar with a lot of them, so
local entrepreneurs, artists, and food lovers have begun reviving the town, opening small restaurants and galleries inside restored.
yeah, I've been around for like 4 years with seeing what type of man he is, Ruben, and I never seen anything honest ever said about the man that he did wrong. And, anything that people make up about him is bullshit. The shit he's actually done wrong, I don't, whatever. I can forgive the man for what, we all have done wrong. So I'm not no angel, but I definitely ain't never hurt no children or no shit like that. And that's the shit that they try to like dirty him with is crazy, but whatever.
Old buildings. The past still lingers, but a quiet
Another man got morals. I got morals. I can rock with that.
resurgence is taking root.
Thanks for sharing that, DJ.
These next two aren't towns in the traditional sense, but their ghostly presence earns them a place on this list. North Brother Island and South Brother Island.
So these are two islands, I think, right off like the Bronx and the river there.
Lie in the East River.
Yeah, in the East River.
just off the Bronx.
Okay.
North Brother Island is infamous for the 19...
All right, I don't remember this. I'm not gonna front. I don't know nothing about no 1904 General Slocum disaster. Slocum.
04 General Slocum disaster, when a passenger steamboat caught fire.
Yeah, I agree, Jason. I understand the same thing, bro. I know dudes, when you're a real dude who's been through it, you could, you know what it is, Jason. I don't even got to talk about it with you.
Fire, killing over 1,000 people nearby, one of the worst maritime tragedies in U.S. history. After that, the island became a quarantine facility for contagious diseases. It even housed
David James, what's up? Okay, so this place housed Typhoid Mary, this little island off in the East River outside of the Bronx. Like, these are abandoned islands now. But yeah, they used to literally have Typhoid Mary housed there, who was like one of the most, you know, famous patients to be segregated from like all of humanity.
the notorious Typhoid Mary, one of the most infamous isolated patients in New York history. South Brother Island, smaller and even more isolated, has no buildings, just untouched wilderness, now a protected bird sanctuary. While North Brother Island is steeped in human tragedy,
You got it, DJ. Thanks for coming in, man.
South Brother Island feels like a place-time forgot. Quiet, wild, and rarely mentioned outside of historical circles. Next up is Woodstock, a town best known today for its artistic community and iconic
Yankees for life, my guy. What's up? All right, so Woodstock, New York. Shout out to Woodstock. You can see Woodstock, right? Everybody probably heard of Woodstock back in the 60s and all that, right? The big concert that was actually done outside of Woodstock, New York. But I didn't know that. So when I was like 12 years old or some shit, I went to Woodstock, New York looking to buy weed, bro. Like, I thought that was where all the weed must come from if all the hippies from the 60s were in Woodstock. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And I actually got bud, me and my two friends, and we got weed from this chick. She had two different kinds. I bought the cheap shit, and it was good enough for us. That shit was crazy. That I'll never forget that. Woodstock, New York. So that was the first time I ever went to Woodstock, New York.
name. But beyond the galleries and music festivals,
It's a nice old town. Like, there's a lot of musicians there, a lot of audio mixers, like professional people, artists. It's a nice little town. It's really artistic. There used to be like all the weed shops and bong stores on the main street, Tinker Street, and all that. They have like, like all the tie-dye shirt places, all that stuff in there. It is a little hippie-ish, but it's a cool town. Woodstock's a nice place to stop in.
lies a more forgotten side of this.
Yeah, Woodstock people got down, MRH. I knew Woodstock dudes were always down to eat some shrooms back in the day. They were that's the type of people Woodstock people were, but they were good people.
Mountain town. Since the 19th century, Woodstock has attracted artists, miners, and craftspeople, but much of its
It still looks like that today, so.
early community has long since
From Manhattan, it's like probably 90 miles. Yankees, probably like 90, 100 miles. It's like a two-hour trip, maybe. I don't know, a little something like that. I don't know. If that, I don't know. Because I used to be able to go to like Jersey in 2 hours, but Jersey is almost as close as fucking Manhattan sometimes. So I don't know.
vanished. If you hike through the surrounding forests, you'll still find stone foundations, ruined workers' cottages, and the remains of early artist colonies, silent relics of a past era. It's a striking contrast. The vibrant image of Woodstock today.
Yeah, you see like they got the cliffs where you jump off. Let me go back on the video, kind of go over it a little better. There's some old abandoned stuff. Then they got in the woods, but then you got like the real hippie vibe still, where dudes got all this stuff out. It's all the old houses still from like the 1800s that have been kept up. They're jumping off the cliffs. Hang
Artist
on.
colonies, silent relics of a past era.
Yeah, relics.
It's a striking contrast.
Nice place if
The
you're in a
vibrant
big city or something like that to visit.
image of Woodstock today versus the quiet, crumbling structures hidden beneath the
There you go, MRH. It's like 2 hours. Yeah, I knew it wasn't that far. Because I've been to New York City plenty of times, being not that far from there, but well, too many times, unfortunately. But you know what it is.
trees. Then there's Rondout, once a bustling port in Kingston.
All right, so this is downtown Kingston area, Roundout. This is like where I was born, basically. I didn't even know this was on here.
Ulster County, where the Delaware and Hudson Canal met the Hudson River.
Yeah, so this is where the Delaware Canal met the Hudson River. That's why Delaware Ave was always big in Kingston, just like it is in Philly or other places. Nice area it used to be back in the day. That Roundout area, it's kind of like Pincocky.
In the 19th
There was a lot of Indian tribes down there originally when the Dutch settled.
century, Rondout thrived.
So this was actually also the first capital in New York State too, by the way, before the British burned it, was Kingston, New York, before the British burned it, and Albany became the capital of New York, but before that it used to be Kingston.
As a commercial hub. Coal from Pennsylvania passed through here, destined for New York City and beyond. The town was packed with workers, hotels, bars, and churches, a vibrant port city of its time. But when the canal shut down in the early 1900s, the economy collapsed almost overnight.
So this may actually be the city of Roundout. I think he has it mixed up, calling it Roundout Kingston. I don't think he's right about that. I think this is actually Roundout, New York, which isn't that far from there.
It wasn't until the late 20th century that restoration efforts began. Today, parts of Rondu have been revived as a historic district, with museums and art galleries.
Roundout,
but echoes of its golden age remain. Cobblestone Street.
Yeah, that's the cobblestone streets with the old rail trails you can see. Railroads used to, be big all through this area. Everybody from New York used to come through all there in the area you're seeing here.
Empty warehouses and an atmosphere that makes it feel like a ghost town.
There's still, I think that area, that city has like 80,000 residents right now. So it's not like 4,000 like some of them cities, but
that's been partially reawakened. Onnoville is a haunting example of a town not slowly abandoned, but deliberately erased. Located in Cattaraugus County, western New York, Onnoville was
made bricks. There was cobblestone roads in that town because it's an old Dutch town originally. Then it became English. Then, of course, during the American Revolution, there was a lot of revolutionary things signed in that city. There's the old Senate House in that city that actually they still have tourists go to still to this day. It's still set up like the 1700s when they signed those papers. That's pretty dope. That's uptown, but
once home to small families, many of Seneca Nation descent, living quietly in the Allegheny Valley. Everything changed in the early 1960s when the U.S. government built the Kinzua Dam on the Allegheny River. The project aimed to control flooding, but came at a steep cost. Entire villages, including Onoville.
I'm telling you, New York is a really big state, Danny. And like if you're like located somewhere where I am, I'm 2 hours from everyone. I'm 2 hours from PA, from Connecticut, from Rhode Island. I'm 200 miles from, you know, uh, whatever. So
Were forcibly cleared out. Homes were dismantled or left behind. Fields were submerged, and Onoville disappeared beneath the Allegheny Reservoir. What makes the story even more tragic is the betrayal felt by many native residents.
exactly, Maureen, a lot of history. It goes back like I remember as a kid growing up in these areas, like they taught us a lot about the Native Americans who lived in these areas, and it was very interesting to me as a kid, because we had Iroquois and Algonquin in our area, so it was a lot of war that they had going on between each other before we got here and shit. But um, they, so it's totally different cultures. You're talking like teepee Indians versus Longhouse Indians, very different cultures. So it's
Whose ancestral lands
in California. Okay. Yeah, when you get into the traffic though, if you got to go to like LA, or same with me though, if I got to go into New York City, it could be a 6-hour trip because New York City's New York City.
were lost, despite long-standing treaties. Today, Onoville survives only in the memories and stories of those who once lived there.
Yeah, that's one I never even heard of, Onoville. So that was a native place, I guess, and the government kicked them out. That's crazy. Hey, Hev, I'm gonna mod you so I know it's you when you come in. Good to see you. God bless.
Last but not least, we have Doodletown, often called New York's most famous ghost town.
I never heard of it. I gotta be honest. Doodletown.
Tucked inside
I would think Sleepy Hollow would be New York's most famous ghost town, or maybe Amityville, New York, from the Amityville horror story and all that. But I guess Doodletown, this guy says.
Bear Mountain State Park in Rockland County, Doodletown was settled in the 1700s. For generations, small families lived simple lives, farming, working in nearby mines, sending kids to school in a wooden schoolhouse. The turning point came when the state decided to expand Bear Mountain Park. By 1965, the last remaining residents had moved out, and Doodletown was officially abandoned. Today, you can still walk its old roads, see the stone foundations, and even visit its historic cemeteries. Hikers often describe the place as quiet but eerie, a trail laced.
All right, I'm probably gonna get hit with some bullshit for playing that, even though I pretty much thought I made fair use of it as far as I could tell. Uh, Pretty sure I stopped it plenty. I explained my points of view, but which is fair use generally, but you know, the way YouTube people act, you never know. So hope everybody liked the live so far. If hang on, I told Maureen I would show her what Empire 54 looked like. Hold up. So that's Empire 54. All right, this webcam ain't that great or whatever. It's supposed to be 1080p, but that ain't that great nowadays. I gotta get a new camera. I never planned on really doing all this, but I started to, so. Hey, Yankees, thanks for being in here, man. God bless, man. Have a good day, by the way. Yankees is a real one since day one. Cold Train, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. I stopped in Vinny's chat earlier. I saw you were in there. I said, what's up? But I bailed out because I had to do my live. We just went over a whole bunch of historic stuff and all that. But yeah, bum. Yeah, they lost. All right. I heard that before too, Coach Rain. We haven't lost that many though. We've been covering every game basically. So, Yankees have been crushing it this year. From what I've been seeing, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my head is retarded sometimes from my brain injury, but drank the Kool-Aid, Montauk. That's what I keep hearing, man. Absolutely, Ruben. Thanks for being here. God bless, man. Have a good night. Thank you, Maureen. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up in the next like 5 minutes or so. I gotta put this Empire 54 away. Yeah, Heavy, you should check it out. You'll probably actually like it. As long as I don't get hit with some bullshit copyright and then have to take it out anyway or whatever, but which keeps happening to me, but it is what it is. Which I've pretty much tried to be fair use about everything. Especially like weird shit like UMG, Universal Music Group. They will hit you if somebody plays like 3 seconds of a chorus from some music that they own. Like literally, there will be like 3 seconds of a chorus in there, and I'll get a Universal Music Group hit. Watcher of Crazy. Is that the real you? It is. I know it's the real you because you got the three crazy hands. I know that's you. I'll add you so I know it's you when you're here. Yeah, I know. I just take it out anyway, Danny, because I don't even feel like having any bullshit. I had like a couple shows that were actually restricted in certain areas because of a couple copyrights, which was bullshit. So I just remove them out of the live or whatever later on if they actually give me shit over it. But Watcher, you got here late at the end of the live stream, but it's all good. We appreciate you. MRH, you're gonna hit me up later or something. We'll have to figure something out so we can do a live together one night this week or some shit. Well, my head looks all crazy. Had to cut my own fucking hair today because my barber's in Alabama got my head looking crazy compared to normal. My shit's usually all long, curly. I got my shit buzzed all down. If it's a straight, they'll remove it. Then then you contact Watcher. Yeah, all right, Danny. I'm pretty good with tech actually. I know how it works. Like if I really wanted to fight something, I would fight it to where they had to take me to court for it. But it's not really that serious yet. It may never be that serious either. So Has she? I've been missing her shows, DJ. I guess I gotta stop in there. I stopped in there one day. She had this crazy, funny fucking black guy in there. I don't remember what the hell his name was, but he kept saying funny shit. I was dying. Huggy Bear or some shit. Man, that dude is hilarious. Self haircut go very wrong. Yo, I started cutting my own hair mad years ago because I went to the fucking barber one time and they fucked my head up, and I really thought I was gonna fuck this dude up over it. So I used to have a bad temper, so I stopped going for a little while, and then this Italian dude I know locally cut owned his own shop and everything as a master barber. Like, so I have him cut my hair, and then he goes to Alabama. So I gotta send him his mail in fucking Alabama and wait for his ass to come home. So I just cut my own hair. Yeah, you're gonna be live later, watcher? Assassinino. What's up, my guy? God bless. Glad you stopped in. Thank you. It's pretty much the end of the live, but I'm glad you stopped in anyway. We did a little historical abandoned areas in New York thing I went over. So if anybody wants to go back and check out what it was about, you could do that later. Oh, okay, Heb's gonna be live in about 20 minutes. I'm gonna be off in about 2. So we got Hev gonna be live, maybe Watcher, possibly Assassino. We're waiting to see some more of his videos hit. Just got done with a 13-hour shift. That's always rough, Assassino. Assassino. I always say your shit wrong. Yeah, I agree. I've worked those shifts, those 45 days in a row with no day off, 12-hour days and shit. That shit is rough. You love it, all right? It gets rough, especially when your body is in pieces. I'd probably would have loved it too if my body wasn't all fucked up. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming in. If you get time later, if you didn't see the live, go back and check it out. If not, thanks anyway. Give it a like if you can. Go ahead and drop a comment or something. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Faith in Jesus Christ every day. Be well. Christ is King. Be safe, everybody. I'll catch you all later. Maybe I'll see you over on some of them other live streams or something. Take care. And thanks for being here. Later.